Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Hassan and you are watching my channel Professor Hassan Hamayoon. Dear students, within 15 to 20 days, Ppsc is going to conduct a written test for the post of lecturer statistics. Today, being a professor of statistics, I will discuss 96 important technical and conceptual multiple choice questions for the topic of measure of dispersion. I request everyone, you should not miss a single MCQ of today's lecture because that MCQ can be the part of that paper. So I will request everyone, before starting today's lecture, subscribe to my channel, like and share my channel, and click the bell icon for the notifications of the next important videos. Let's start. Question number 1 is, in symmetrical distribution, mean is equal to median is equal to mode, and in positively skewed, mean is greater than median, it is greater than mode. And in symmetric distribution, Q3 upper quartile minus median is equal to Q2 minus Q1. In symmetrical distribution, Q3 plus Q1 is equal to 2Q2, and it can also be written as Q3 plus Q1 over 2 is equal to Q2. And one more question can be obtained. The second quartile, which is median, is the arithmetic mean of lower and upper quartile. A very important question. Next is, in symmetrical distribution, third moment about mean is always equal to 0. M3 is equal to 0. In positively skewed distribution, mean is greater than median, greater than mode, and in positively skewed distribution, Q3 minus Q2 is greater than Q2 minus Q1. In negatively skewed distribution, mean is less than median, less than mode. In negatively skewed distribution, that will be less than sign. And a very important question, which is very compulsory one for every written test, standard deviation of x minus y. Many students make a mistake. Always you should remember, standard deviation of x minus y is always equal to variance of x plus variance of y under the root. I will give you one example also. For example, sigma of x is given 3, sigma of y is given 4, and the question is find out standard deviation of x minus y. That will be equal to under root. Variance of x means 3 square 9 plus variance of y means 4 square 16, and 16 plus 9 is 25. Under root will be 5. 5 will be the correct answer in the exam. Next is, all measures of dispersions are independent of origin but not scale. Dear students, as we have discussed chapter number 3, measure of central tendency, all measures of central tendency, arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean, median, mode, they depend upon origin and scale. They are not independent of plus, minus, multiply, divide. They are changed with the help of these. If we add a value, subtract a value, multiply or divide a constant, all measures of central tendency are changed. But if I talk about measure of dispersion, I talk about range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation. These all are not affected by plus minus. They are independent of plus minus origin, but they are dependent upon multiply, divide, scale. And coefficient of variation is independent of scale but not origin. Please keep in mind, these are the basic questions. Next is, if we add a value, coefficient of variation is decreased. Next, if we subtract a value, coefficient of variation is increased. Next is, lack of uniformity, lack of symmetry is called skewness. Next is, first movement about origin, it is m1 prime, it is always equal to mean. Why? Because m1 prime is summation x minus 0 over n, and it means summation x over n, it means it is mean. Second movement about variance is, second movement about mean is always equal to variance. Why it is equal to variance? Because m2 is equal to m2 prime minus m1 prime whole square, and that will be m2 prime is summation x square over n minus m1 prime is, as we have discussed, summation x over n whole square, and this is the formula of variance. Next question is, if y is equal to -7 minus 5x and sigma of x is given, which is 4, standard deviation of y is given, it is you will have to find out this much. How will you find out standard deviation of y? Just apply the formula. Variance of y is equal to, variance of -7 will be equal to 0 plus 25 into variance of x. 25 into variance of x will be 16, and that will be, you have to calculate standard deviation of y. It means under root of this much, that will be 5 into 4, 20 will be the correct answer. The method is same. Whenever you are to calculate standard deviation of y, that will be under the root variance of first one plus variance of second one. As I have discussed in the previous, in question number 1, I think, standard deviation of x minus y is equal to variance of x plus variance of y under the root. And you will have to take the standard deviation of y means under root variance of this plus variance of this, and that will be 20 will be the correct answer. Next question is, gamma 1 is always equal to under root beta 1 and gamma 2 is equal to beta 2 minus 3, and beta 1 coefficient of skewness, it is equal to m3 square over m2 cube, and beta 2 is equal to m4 over m2 square. In beta 1 we compare with 0, in beta 2 we compare with 3, in gamma 1 we compare with 0, and in gamma 2 we compare with 0. If beta 1 is 0, no skewness. If beta 1 is greater than 0, positively skewed, less than 0, negatively skewed. Beta 2 is greater than 3, that will be lepto. Beta 2 equal to 3, that will be meso. Gamma 1 is equal to 0, no skewness, greater than 0, positively skewed, less than 0, negatively skewed. Gamma 2 is 0 means mesokurtic. Gamma 2 greater than 0, lepto. Gamma 2 less than 0, platy. All are important questions. Next question is, in mesokurtic, mu4 is equal to 3 sigma power 4 and beta 2 is equal to 3. We know the formula of beta 2, that will be mu4 over mu2 square, and that will be equal to, actually we know mu2 is equal to, second word about mu is equal to variance, and that will be 3 is equal to mu4 over, that will be sigma power 4. So 3 sigma power 4 is equal to mu4. A very important question. In mesokurtic means beta 2 is equal to 3. We just use the formula of beta 2, mu4 over mu2 square, mu4 over. How did I get this answer actually? This is the answer. Question is beta 2 is equal to 3. Find out fourth moment or mean. Beta 2 is equal to this much. Mu2 means sigma square power 2 means sigma power 4. That will be multiplied over here. Mu4 will be equal to 3 sigma power 4. Next question is, if variance of 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 is x, then the variance of 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, a very important question. Just observe these two data sets. First value was 10, now it is x. Second was 12, now it is 10. It means there is a degrees of 2. Let y is equal to x minus 2. In the paper they can ask about x plus 2, x plus 5, x minus 7. Now we have to calculate the variance of y is equal to variance of x plus 0. These all are equal. It means we know when we add a value, we subtract a value, all measures of dispersion are not affected. They are independent of origin. So you will have to observe in the exam what has been done, plus, minus, multiply or divide. So there was a concept of minus, so variance will not be changed. For example, in the exam, if the question is 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, its variance is x. Now there is a new data set. Now the variance is variances, the values are 10, 20, 30, 40, 60. What is the variance of this much? You will have to observe 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, 10 multiplied by 2 is 20, 15 multiplied by 2 is 30. Now there is a relation of multiplication. Let y is equal to 2x. Now variance of y will be equal to, we know the square of this constant, 4 variance of x. 4 and it is given, it is x. Now 4x will be the answer in the exam. These are the important concepts. Next is first two movements about 7. A is equal to 7 of a variable r. M1 prime is given, it is 2. M2 prime is given 15. Then variance is, we know variance is equal to M2, and M2 is equal to M2 prime minus M1 prime whole square. M2 prime is given 15 minus 2 whole square. 15 minus 4 is 11. Then next question is very important. Mean deviation is always less than standard deviation. Standard deviation is always greater than mean deviation for all the positive distinct numbers. If we have the same numbers, then mean deviation is equal to standard deviation. They are 0. But whenever we have the positive distinct numbers, standard deviation is always greater than mean deviation. Next is, in a normal distribution, x bar plus minus s contains 68.2% of the values. X bar plus minus 2s contains 95.45% of the values. X bar plus minus 3s contains 99.73% of the values. Next is M3 is equal to 0 means symmetrical distribution. Beta 1 is equal to 0 symmetrical. Extremely negatively skewed graph will be J-shaped. Please keep in mind, extremely negatively skewed distribution will be J-shaped. Range is unstable dispersion, standard deviation is stable dispersion. Range is not capable for the further mathematical treatment. Median, a very important question. Median plus minus quartile deviation contains 50% of the data, and I have proved in my one of the lectures it will be equal to 50% of the data. Next is quartile deviation is half of the interquartile range. How? It is Q3 minus Q1 over 2, 1 over 2. It is interquartile range. It means the question is quartile deviation is half of interquartile range, and it can also be written as 2 will be multiplied over here. So I can say interquartile range is twice quartile deviation. Double the quartile deviation can also be said. Quartile deviation is useful in extremely skewed distribution, because if we talk about median, actually quartile deviation depends upon Q3 minus Q1 over 2. Q1, Q3, percentiles, deciles, median, they are not affected by the extreme values. So please keep in mind, if we talk about the dispersions, then quartile deviation is least affected by the extreme values. If we talk about the center tendency, arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean, median and mode, median is least affected by the extreme values. Next is quartile division can be computed for open-end classes. A very important question. Arithmetic mean cannot be calculated, not calculated for open-ended, because it depends upon x, and x is achieved by plus upper class boundary, lower plus upper over 2. And if we talk about geometric mean, it cannot be calculated for open-end. Harmonic mean will not be calculated for open-end. But median, quartiles, percentiles, deciles, they all can be calculated for the open-end classes. And quartile deviation, it also depends upon Q3 and Q1. It is also capable. It can be calculated for the open-end classes. If I talk about standard deviation or mean deviation from mean, these cannot be calculated for the open-end classes. All are the basic concepts. Next is quartile division is greatly affected by the sampling variability. It is not affected by the extreme values, but it is affected by the sampling variability. Next is quartile division is not capable like the range for the further mathematical treatment. Standard deviation is capable for the further mathematical treatment. Next is mean deviation is also not capable. Range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, all are not capable for the further mathematical treatment. Only the standard deviation as a measure of dispersion is capable for the mathematical treatment. Next is standard deviation is less affected by the sampling fluctuations. Quartile deviation is affected by the sampling fluctuations, but standard deviation is less affected by the sampling fluctuations. Next is fourth movement, mean movement is a very important. Fourth mean movement is a measure of kurtosis. Dear students, please keep in mind. And M3 is measure of skewness. Beta 1 coefficient of skewness, beta 2 coefficient of kurtosis. Movement ratios are beta 1 and beta 2. They are independent of origin, they are independent of scale, they are pure numbers. Pure numbers. Because we have the ratio actually. M3 square over M2 cube. In beta 2 we have the ratio M4 over M2 square. They are pure numbers. They are independent of unit. They are independent of unit. They have no unit. Centimeter, millimeter. They have no unit. A very important question I will teach you in the inshallah in interview also. What is the difference between symmetry and normality actually? A very important question for interview as well as written test. What is the difference between normality and symmetry? What is the similarity between normality and symmetry? Actually this figure is symmetrical. Two portions are equal, are same, but this is not normal. It is symmetric but not normal. This is symmetric as well as normal. So what did we learn? What will be the answer in interview? What will be the answer in the written test? Every normal figure is symmetric, but every symmetric figure may or may not be normal. It is normal and it is symmetric also. It is symmetric but it is not normal. So what did you learn? Every normal shape is symmetric too, but every symmetric figure may or may not be normal. A very important question for both written test as well as interview. Who was Ppsc? He was a Russian mathematician. Russian mathematician Ppsc, and his inequality is x bar plus minus ks contains at least, a very important question, 1 over 1 minus k square of the data. And please keep in mind, this is an important question. This is also an important question. And the third one is k is always greater than 1. If k is equal to 2, if I put k is equal to 2, then x bar plus minus 2s contains 1 minus 1 over 2 square 4. It means 3 by 4. 3 by 4 means 75% of the data. And if the question is k is equal to 3, x bar plus minus 3s contains 1 minus 1 over k square 3, so 9, 8 over 9, that will be 0.88% of the data. Next is CV was introduced by Carl Pearson. Standard deviation was also introduced by Carl Pearson in 1893. We are discussing 96 questions. When x bar is equal to x bar 2, then the formula of combined variance is, a numerical can also be asked, n1 s1 square plus n2 s2 square over n1 plus n2. And when x bar 1 is not equal to x bar 2, then the formula will be this much plus n1 n2 over n1 plus n2 whole square into x bar 1 minus x bar 2 whole square. Shepherd's correction is used for the even movements. Please keep in mind, it is not used for the odd order movements, and it was developed by W.F. Shepherd. W.F. Shepherd. And M2 corrected with the help of the formula is M2 uncorrected, M2 minus h square over 12. And for M4 corrected, it is M4 uncorrected minus h square over 2 m4 m2 uncorrected plus 7 over 240 h power 4. Then very important questions about skewness. The formula of question skewness is mean minus mode over standard deviation, that was given by Cole Pearson, and its range is minus 3 to plus 3. And I can also write it skewness modulus less than equal to 3, and the Bowles formula is q1 plus q3 minus 2q2 over q3 minus q1, that was given by Bowles, and its range is minus 1 to plus 1. And in the exam they can write it this much, like this much, modulus less than equal to plus 1. Then one more important question, percentile coefficient of ketosis k is equal to quartile deviation over p90 minus p10, its range is 0 to 0.5, and if k is equal to 0.263, that is mesokurtic. If k is greater than 0.263, that is lepto. If k is less than 0.263, it is platy. Then what is the difference between absolute and relative dispersion? If the dispersion is in the same units as the units of the measurement, for example the data is given in centimeters, then if the dispersion is also in centimeters, these are absolute. Range, mean deviation, quartile deviation, range, standard deviation, all are absolute measures of dispersion. Variance is not the absolute because it takes the square of the unit, centimeter square, inches square, kilometer square, and coefficient of variation is a relative measure of dispersion. A relative measure of dispersion are those when the unit of measurement is not same and the unit of dispersion is not same as the unit of measurement. Range is the easiest measure of dispersion. Range is the weakest measure of dispersion. If y is equal to ax plus minus b, then range of y constant will be as it is, modulus range of x. We know plus minus is not affecting the measures of dispersion, but if here is minus 1, then the modulus will take the plus a, the constant will be plus. Next is in quality control, range is used as a substitute of the standard deviation. If we increase the frequencies in a tails over distribution, then standard deviation increases. Interquartile range can be applied to the ordinal data. Whenever we have the qualitative data, interquartile range can be applied. Next is very important question, when distribution is standardized, mean is 0, sigma is 1, interquartile range is preferred to standard deviation. Because sigma is 1, mean is 0, we prefer interquartile range. Next is standard deviation has highest degree of reliability. Next question is very important. 1 is added in every value of the data. For example, I will prove in front of you. For example, the values are 2, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Its mean is 5, this much. If I add one value, that will be 3, that will be 5, that will be 6, that will be 7 and that will be 8. If we add a constant value in every, if we add 1, its mean is 5. If we add 1 to the smallest value and subtract 1 from the largest one, that will be 3, these will be as it is, that will be 8. Now the mean will be same, that will not be changed. 3 plus 4, 7, 7, 12, 12 plus 6, 18, 24, 26 over 5. You will have to check it. I will have to take again. The values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Its mean is 3. If I add 1 in first smallest value and subtract 1 from the largest one, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, its mean will be the same, that will not be changed. It means x bar 1 is equal to x bar 2. If we add any constant in the smallest value and subtract from the largest one, means are not affected, but standard deviation is affected. If we subtract a constant from the largest one, then the new standard deviation will be less than the previous one. You can prove it, you can check it. And if one is subtracted from the smallest one and one is added in the largest one, in largest, you can prove it. X bar 1 will be equal to x bar 2. Now if we add a one constant value in the largest one, then the new variance standard deviation will be greater than the previous one. That question can be asked in the interview, in the exam also, in the written test also. Which measure of dispersion has a different unit other than the unit of measurement? It is variance, centimeter square, inches square. Next is, if mean is equal to 12 and variance is equal to 0, it means, if variance is 0, it means that all the values are equal to the mean, 12. Next is, if coefficient of variation of A is greater than coefficient of variation of B, it has two meanings. It means that the variation in A is more than the variation in B, and it also means that B is more consistent. Next is, movement about mean are called central movements. Movement about origin are called raw movements. Movements are invariant to origin but not scale. They are not affected by plus minus, but they are affected by multiply divide. Shepard's correction is for grouped data, a very important. Skewness tells us amount of dispersion. In positively skewed, mean is the largest one. In negatively skewed, mode is the largest one. Next is, when mode is not well defined and classes are open ended, we use the Professor Bowley's coefficient of skewness, q1 plus q3 minus 2q2 over q3 minus q1. Next is, for a symmetrical distribution, odd order movements are 0. These are the 96 questions. I will wait for your precious comments. Assalamu alaikum.